He said, "This stays between us," and I believed every word. Until I found out I was just a secret. Hidden from his fiancée, his lies, and the truth I never saw coming. Desire. Betrayal. And a love that should have never happened. This isn't just a story. It's a confession. Please like, comment and support to Swept in Secrets. My name is Scarlett Monroe, and this is the story of how one sentence marked the beginning and end of the most dangerous love I ever knew. One sentence that made me feel alive, desired, and completely destroyed. This is the truth of what really happened the night he said, "This stays between us." And I believed him. It was a night both too beautiful to forget and too painful to remember. I was at an engagement party, my best friend's big celebration. There were rose-gold lanterns drifting across the night sky, laughter echoing from expensive balconies, and the glittering Manhattan skyline twinkling like millions of eyes watching all of us from a distance. I was supposed to feel happy, honored, and thrilled, but instead, I felt invisible. I blended into the champagne-colored decor like a decorative candle. My best friend, Lila, was stunning as always, floating through the party as if she was born to grace every room she walked into. Her fiancé, a man so besotted he practically worshipped her, never left her side. And the guests? They smiled, they raised glasses, they hugged like they were all starring in the same perfect movie. I told myself I was happy for her. And mostly, I was. But there was a tiny, hollow ache inside me. A reminder that I was always the observer. Always the one in the wings. Always the shoulder everyone cried on, but not the one who got to feel the story. And then he turned around. His name was Aiden Cross. I didn't know then how deeply that name would burn itself into me. How every letter would tattoo itself across my breath. He wasn't the groom. He wasn't anybody's date. He was standing alone beside the grand piano with a loosened tie and a gaze that could unbutton your confidence in a single glance. If I had known what his eyes would do, I would have never looked into them. "Is this place for the overthinkers?" he asked, "or just those who prefer their own company at weddings?" I blinked, trying not to choke on the surprise of being addressed by someone who could have easily been the cover of a Forbes magazine or a music streaming fantasy. "I prefer my own company anywhere that involves too much white lace," I said. He grinned. And it wasn't polite. It was real. Dangerous. Charming. "You look like you fit in," he observed, letting his eyes glide over the glittering neckline of my deep emerald dress. "And yet you look like you'd rather be anywhere else." I didn't even get a chance to respond before he stepped closer, invading the personal space I'd never realized I disliked until it was occupied by him. His voice dropped. "You don't have to pretend with me. There are moments you relive more than you live them." That was one. His words slipped inside my goodbye defenses and unlocked everything I didn't even mean to hide. I didn't realize I'd smiled until he smiled back. And just like that, we weren't strangers anymore. We talked. Not just the polite kind of talking that people do at fancy engagements, but the kind that made the rest of the night disappear. The music, the laughter, the sound of glasses clinking, it all faded. The only soundtrack left was the thump of my own pulse and Aiden's smooth, careful voice. He told me things. Stuff he didn't need to share. About how he was tired of shallow conversations, of people who only wanted what he could give them, not who he was. And stupidly, I believed I was different. At one point, I asked him why he was really there. He gave me a slow half-smile and said, "I came because I was invited. But now, I'm staying because of you." I felt myself fall. Just a little. It wasn't physical, not then. But there was this growing electricity between us. One spark too many. One shared laugh too loud. 1 second too long holding each other's gaze. And then, in a space between the piano and the wall, where the lights dipped low and the room was filled with strangers, Aiden brushed my hand with his fingertips. It jolted me. "What are you doing?" I whispered, breath unsteady. "Having a moment," he said. Then, leaning closer, his breath grazing my cheek, soft, warm, deadly, he whispered, "This stays between us." That was the moment I should have pulled away. But I didn't. Instead, I let the moment stretch. I let his thumb graze the inside of my wrist. I let myself feel seen. Wanted. Lied to. Because sometimes, when no one has ever chosen you, not really, all it takes is one man who pretends to choose you to make you betray yourself. From that night on, everything changed. Aiden and I didn't kiss that night. But we did more damage than a kiss ever could. I left the party drunk, but not on champagne. On something so much more intoxicating, the promise of being someone's secret. I should have known better. I should have run home, blocked his number, burnt the dress, and buried the night in the quietest corner of my memory. But the next morning, there he was. A message. "Good morning, Scarlett." Just reading my name from him made something melt inside me. And so it began. The texts turned into late-night phone calls. The calls turned into drives across the city just to sit in his car and talk. The talks turned into touches. Touches into closeness. Closeness into fire. We told ourselves it was temporary. Dangerous. Private. Unlabeled. But the truth. It already had a label. I just refused to read it. We met in hotel lobbies. In dark corners of parks. In the back booth of an old speakeasy he claimed no one else knew about. He would touch my face like I was a memory he wanted to rewrite. I would look into his eyes and forget that he ever needed to ask me to keep anything a secret. And still, every night after we parted, I felt a stab of guilt. But his last words of every parting. "Scarlett, it's only ours." And like a fool, I believed him. Until I met the woman who didn't know I existed. Her name was Sienna Hale. Beautiful. Polished. The type of woman who never had to try to be envied. The kind of woman who didn't need validation, because she owned every room she stepped into. Aiden's fiancée. Yes. He was engaged. The whole time. And I found out in the cruelest way. Not from him, but because she recognized the perfume I wore one night at a formal dinner. "You wear velvet iris." That's Aiden's favorite scent. Only he never let me wear it. My heart cracked in two. And I didn't even try to hide it. Later that night, I demanded the truth. Aiden didn't deny it. "Scarlett, I didn't lie to you," he insisted, holding my face like it still belonged to him. "I just didn't tell you everything." "Why?" I choked out. His jaw tightened. "Because you wouldn't have stayed." That was all he said. And all it took to shatter the illusion I'd mistaken for love. He didn't love me. He loved being wanted. And I was the one who handed him my heart like it was nothing but wrapping paper. I left. For real this time. And for weeks, I tried to forget. To erase. To numb the memories of fingers I should have never let touch me and lips I should have never kissed. But memory is a cruel parasite. It lives. Even when everything else dies. Which is why, months later, when I got a message from Sienna, I didn't ignore it. Meet me. I need to know the truth. We met on a rooftop, fittingly, the same one where Aiden first touched my wrist, first lit the flame I didn't know would burn me. Sienna didn't scream. Didn't blame me. She just looked tired. I saw your name in his phone, she said quietly. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at myself. And that was when I realized something. The worst betrayal isn't from someone lying to you, but from knowingly lying to yourself. She didn't marry him. She chose herself. And in watching her walk away, with her shoulders straight and her heart whole, I finally found the courage to choose myself, too. I deleted his number. Not in anger. But in release. And with that, I whispered goodbye, not to him. But to the version of me who believed that love lived in secrecy. Now, I know better. If someone ever says, this stays between us. Run. Love doesn't hide. People do. And I've learned, I'm no longer someone anyone gets to hide.